This is the story of a woman who once stood up in northern Uganda and said something that sounded impossible. She said she was not just a woman. Her name was Auma Lakwena, and according to her, she carried a message that changed everything. If you are spiritually pure, bullets will not kill you. Now, pause for a second. Not because it sounds strange, but because thousands of people heard that and did not laugh. They listened, they believed, and then they walked into war carrying something most soldiers never carry. Not better weapons, not better training, but faith. So, how does a moment like that even happen? Before any movement, before any battlefield, Auma Lakwena was not a commander. She lived in a place where healing, spirituality, Christianity, and traditional beliefs all existed side by side. People came to her for guidance, for meaning, for answers when life stopped making sense. And slowly something shifted. She began to speak as if she was being guided by a spirit called Lakwena, a messenger. And in a country already breaking under pressure, people started to see her differently, because when everything around you becomes unstable, certainty becomes more powerful than proof. Then came the movement, the Holy Spirit movement, and it was built like a normal army. It was built like a belief system. Rules were given: no alcohol, no stealing, no sex before battle, constant prayer, ritual, discipline, moral purification. And then came the core idea, the one that defined everything. If you followed these rules, you would be protected. Not symbolically, not metaphorically, physically. Bullets would not kill you. Now, ask yourself honestly, if you were living in a place filled with fear, displacement, violence, and no system you trusted anymore, would you question that climb? Or would you cling to it? Because thousands did not just accept it, they acted on it. They marched forward, singing. They prayed as they moved. They believed they were spiritually protected warriors. But war does not negotiate with belief. When they met modern weapons and trained forces, something inevitable happened. Faith met physics, and reality did not pause. Many were killed, others injured. The movement began to fracture under the weight of what it could not explain away. And then the question changed again. Not just how did they believe it, but what happens when belief is stronger than survival instinct. Some people look at this and see tragedy. Some see faith pushed to its absolute limit. Some see a society under pressure trying to create meaning where none is left. But what you cannot ignore is this, that belief, real belief, can move people further than fear ever could. Eventually the movement collapsed as a fighting force. Auma fled into exile in Kenya, leaving behind a story that people still struggle to place neatly into history. Because in the end, this is not just a story about war. It's a story about how far the human mind will go when the world stops feeling safe. And it leaves you with a question that does not go away easily. When reality becomes unbearable, do people abandon belief, or do they make belief stronger than reality itself? Please subscribe, share, and like this video.